So is this how machine learning / deep learning work? So if I take my image, I'm going to search through the image, get the pixels of that image. Let's just say a black and white image with the number 1 right there, right? Actually, I'm going to just go draw this out while I talk about it. So I'm going to take my image. Say it's the number 1 or number 2. I'm going to go through, scan that image, boom, boom, boom. See what the pixel color that is, right? Is white or is it black? What is the RGB values of that pixel color? Whatever values associated with that pixel color. So I'm going to scan that, boom. Scan that, scan the next one. Keep scanning. So once I keep scanning, I'm going to go into a pixel color that's different. Now on that pixel color, I'm going to start reducing it, right? I know they use a thing called map reduce. So I'm going to reduce that. And I want to say, okay, then this block of pixel colors, which I know how deep learning works though. It's going to say this blocks of pixel colors. We're going to reduce that to a number. Let's say 1. Boom. This is a value of 1. Whoosh. It's going to shut that down to 1, right? Once it shut that down to 1, it's going to say, okay, then we have, let's say this is a pixel color and I have 1 right here, right? It's going to say, oh, white pixel, white pixel, white pixel, right? So it's going to say I got this block right here. Boom. We're going to say this is a value of 0. But I'm going to do a different color because if I'm looking at it from there, you might correlate that green to a different color. So I'm going to say, I'm going to say I got this color of 0 right here, right? This color of 0. Boom. Actually, this color of 0. I took a block of this. And let me say this looks like this. Boom, 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 boom. These are all zeros right here leading up to whatever this value of 1 is, right? So I'm going to take a block of this. Boom. The average of this is 0. Average of this is 0. Average of this is 0. So we're going to go through this. I want to say pixel. I'm going to say array. We're going to go through this array. Average of this is 0. 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 Right? So I go through all of that and see what the average of that is. Some mathematical function, whatever they use, right? When I get to here, this green right here, oh, wait a minute. Boom, boom, boom. I hit this. Average of this could, let's just say, 0.1 or so, right? And let's say there's some threshold limit to say, okay, then if it's greater than 0.1 or greater than some number, I'm sorry, I mean, it don't even matter because it's not like you can see that anyway. Let's say greater than some number, then the average of that, we're going to call that a different value once it reaches a upper threshold, right? So once it reaches the upper threshold, the value of that is a different number, right? So let's say this right here, this is, let's assume this isn't sufficient to say that this is a 1. So let's say it reduces, and I'm gonna put this, right? They might have a 2 map reduce. I'm not sure what the efficiency of that is. Let's say we have a 2 map reduce. It's going to reduce this. Boom. All right, this is 0. All right. Well, let me go right here. Right. It's going to reduce these to a lower number, right? Reduce it even more. So 0, whatever else on that reduce. Then it's going to take this one, reduce this to 0. So maybe that's the second map says, like, okay, this isn't sufficient to change that. When we reduce whatever block this is 0. But once it starts hitting some more of these blocks, oh, this is a valid enough number. Let's say that threshold is like 0.12, right? 0.12 is a valid enough number to be higher than whatever. I mean, it's going to be terrible in terms of how I'm explaining it. But let's say that point, just in terms of video of how it's looking, let's say that point, whatever else, 1, 2, that's valid enough to say, okay, then we're going to reduce this. Boom. First of all, let's reduce. Let's do a reduce on that reduce. Which is, I don't know where my red is though, but. All right, let's skip the red then. I'm just gonna use blue, which is terrible because I'm using blue right here. And you can't even see this, so it don't matter. So let's say this right here is gonna reduce this to 0, right? It's gonna reduce that, then on the second reduce, I mean, not to 0, it's gonna reduce this to 1. This right here is valid enough. It reaches that upper threshold, which I believe I was trying to say earlier, but I might have confused it. This right here reaches that value up threshold. That first red is going to reach the value threshold to say, okay, this is 1. When we get to that second reduce, it's going to reach this second reduce. Okay, let me reduce this. Like when these get like boom, 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 and all of these are 1 or something. Let's say some zeros on the tail end or anything like that, right? So, shit. Okay, let me just zoom in on that so you can kind of see what I'm talking about just on this tip. Let's say on a smaller threshold right here, you see it's some white right here and it's some blue right here. Let's say that this is small enough to be reduced into a 0, right? But there's still some tail end 1s right here, but it's going to reduce it to 1 because let's say it's mainly 0. It doesn't reach that upper threshold of saying, okay, then this is a 1. It's still below that threshold to say there's some blues or some ones in there, but it's lower enough to where we're not going to count that. However, once I start reaching bigger, let's say this starts getting to the reduce, that might reduce it more, but this right here will reduce it enough. And I'm ignoring this white right here. Think small blocks like right here. I'm trying to zoom in just to that blue. All of these blues, or however else you might get the picture, depending on how you draw one, this might be one of the shapes where you would classify that as 1. You know, you classified this as a 1. So we got to train on different multiple variations of this type. So this is one type of 1. So it's going to go cross by cross. And say, okay, we trained on this before. We were told this was a 1. Based on the data that this is a 1, right? This is going to reach the upper threshold and consider this a 1. We might reduce it more to say, okay, let's reduce it more. Which, if you reduce it more, you could cause issues to say, all right, you overly reducing. We're going to change this to a 2 or so. But say if you're reducing, let's say you get rid of some noise. All right, let's get rid of some noise. How do you classify noise? It might be a mathematical function. All right, how do we classify noise? Do we take it off the edges of the array? Do we go through the array and say, okay, then anything with zeros or anything with certain amount of colors that doesn't fit into this color criteria could be a 1, right? Or it could be considered noise. It just depends on your noise function, I'm assuming. So that's what I'm starting to see. Maybe it depends on the noise function. All right, so once you get your noise function, you eliminate all of this noise. You're going to say, okay, then this right here is 0. Whatever. This is 0. This is considered noise. This right here is considered noise. All right, now we're going to have this small space right here. This technically isn't considered noise. So if this isn't considered noise, cool. We've reduced enough information to say, okay, then something begins right here. I don't know what, but something begins right here. And then we finish off to the rest of the function. We keep zooming in. A bigger reduce, you're going to take a bigger chunk. The more reduces you do, the more, I want to say, the more magnifying you get into whatever you're looking at. So let's say you're looking at your telescope. All right, I can see whatever. I can see the universe, right? Or I can see something when I'm looking through my monocular. I can see this ant. But the closer I move, just like with this camera, the closer I move, the more you get zoomed in, let's say to my nose. To you like, oh, shoot, that's definitely a nose. But what if I have too much noise? You get too zoomed in, you're going to say, oh, man, I can't tell what that is, right? The shape of it is no error. So let's say we could zoom out. Boom. Zoom out. All right. I can see this, though, but I can't tell what it is. It could be a few more things, right? Some things are messing you up. You zoom out. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I see a pair of eyes. I see what I could classify as some lips. And through the classification of this position, I could consider this to be possibly a human. 70% chance is a human. So out for that 70% chance is a human, we're going to guess that this is a nose. It might not be right, but that's the guess I'm going to go with if that's a nose. And boom, you got it. So there's a couple of different functions right there. And what I just went through, I can only remember. But that's just how it is when you're thinking about some of this stuff. You don't remember, so you might have to write it down. But I'm pretty sure I could re-go at it again. So I'll say it again. You're going to have a few different classifications. Or how you do it. You're going to start in from your picture. And I haven't done this in a couple of years. But I remember it because I did like it. So you're going to start in from your outer picture. Boom. Zoom in. Zoom in to whatever you're zooming in to. Right? Once you zoom in enough of that, you're going to say, okay, then. I see what's going on, right? This is a pixel. What I said was a map reduce. This is a pixel, which is map reduce. So you're going to take your big picture. Let's say you're 1, as anyway. Zoom in, or not even zoom in. You're just going to take the regular blocks. Boom, 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 boom. Can we classify it off this? You might not even try to classify it off of that because that's too big of a image. So I'm assuming maybe if it's possible to already classify it against that, you might try a variety of different methods. So you could not waste performance or waste time. Let's say you might take a one, and you might not even try to guess of what it is. You might just see, okay, then I'm not sure how they would do it, but let's just say if you could just put that picture in and it say, all right, then this matches this automatically without having a map reduce or do any of that or train the data. Right? They just put it in and it matches it to whatever else. Try different color options and then see if it matches any of the training data sets that you possibly got a high probability with, right? Instead of going through that each time, right? So you'll get that. put it in and it'll do that. But that's when it's done. But when you're doing it through the first time, right? I just thought of that, instead of so you can save performance. Why would you want to take each image and see what the image is, reduce it, do all of this, do all of these different variations, probably try so you get a high set of, okay, then if I get this type of image, different colors, black and white or whatever else, I can reduce that image to say, okay, this is possibly, say, a leopard. And when I say get different images, I mean, let's say I'm trying to do a picture of a leopard, right? Leopard has a different spot. It might be in different positions. It might be in different things. But if I have enough training data on this leopard, I have these leopards in these different positions, possible different positions, in these possible different color variations. Let's say black and white, cyan, you have that, and you can still classify that this is a leopard, which is good training data. You got to have good training data to do that. So people that create training data, probably good people that know, hey, this is a leopard. What would be nefarious is if somebody is putting in something that's not a leopard, let's say a panther, and saying, hey, these are tags as leopards, right? But I'm assuming that's not happening on a mass scale. So once that happens, I think you're good to go. To the next, that shit tastes kind of sour. I'm throwing this out, fool. This is sour, bro. I don't think this is good. That shit is not supposed to be that sour. I'm sorry, it's juice. But once you get done with all that training data and you start pushing it through, you say, all right, I have all these different positions of these leopards. And excuse my thing, I'm trying to get that fixed. Anyway, say, excuse me, all these different positions, boom, positions of these leopards, right? And if I have all these different colors of these leopards, then I can assume that this is a leopard. And with the new AI technology, I think that's what that is. When you go generative AI, it's like, all right, then I have all of these different positions of leopards, right? We've already had this training data set. Let's create a leopard. We have all of this data set to create this. Why not create new things? You know what I mean? But the only thing with that is it might create new variations with it's a hell lot of combinations. But the only thing of that is I think that's what creativity is anyway, combinations, but let me not go into something that's too far. But anyway, it's able to do all these different combinations of whatever else, all these different combinations of scenarios of what a leopard is, right? So you get all this leopard data, and now once you put in a leopard, it's going to know with a high certainty chance that this is leopard because it's been trained over different data to say this is a leopard. But that's before you even got to that point. You had to go piece by piece of an image. Boom, 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 boom. Let me look at this. Boom, 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 boom. Let me look at this. Boom, boom, boom. Let me look at this. All right, now that you got that piece data, all right, let me go ahead and, now that I've trained all of this, let me go reduce this again and let me get these different variations so I know no matter what I put in, this is a leopard. I can't go too deep because if I'm too zoomed in, I don't know what it is. Too zoomed out, I might not see what it is. So it's a different kind of zoom that you can see, okay, we can classify this, right? And they might have different levels of zoom depending on how deep of learning they did. They might have took that picture, put a picture into other pictures. You know what I'm saying? Put the picture so deep into a picture. You know when you on Twitter and you might scroll on that one video that dude drew, like, let's say, a hell lot of people into a hell lot of people. He probably had Peter Griffin. You go into Peter Griffin eye, you see the Family Guy house. You go into the Family Guy house window, you'll see Meg. You keep zooming in, you'll see stuff. They might have it so descriptive now to where you can zoom in an infinite amount of times. And they could classify, hey, this is this. They might go to that subatomic level if you think about it, bro. When it comes to pictures and things like that, that could be his own universe, this data. You can zoom into subatomic pictures. If a dude could create that, I'm pretty sure somebody already thought that shit. They thought of it and they zooming into it right now. So you can zoom into all these subatomic pictures and see and classify an image. And that's just for images, right? That's AI and images. Oh, we can see that. We can see that. We can see that. So somebody could already manually do it. AI just expedites the process. So they're going to catch you. I don't want to say it like that because I'm talking about something else now. But the AI just makes things a whole lot easier. That's the way it goes. AI makes things a whole lot easier. So now that you have that, let's move on to, in terms of when I say makes a whole lot easier, it makes it a whole lot easier to, I don't want to say verify somebody, or put it in that type of sense, but to classify something. So I could classify, hey, this is a picture. I could classify some other stuff to a subatomic level by looking through pictures, through data, right? So now let's say we classify that just with pictures. That's generative AI on pictures. What about generative AI on humans? Right? Now, I just thought of this while I'm talking. What about generative AI on humans? So when I say generative AI on humans, this is what I mean. We look at a human as a data set. So if we're a data set, then what are we being studied with? Our behaviors, let's say Twitter, social media, they study that, right? Our spending habits. Let's just go through it all right now, right? Let's go through our spending habits. Boom, boom, what we spend money on. Boom, 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 boom. We spend money on this. Our eating habits, what we eat. Boom, 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 what we eat. All right, once this gets done, the band of what we eat, what's next? What we watch, what we view, what we talk about, what we upload, a whole list of behavior, like down to the shoes that we buy, down to, bro, what else? Down to the shoes that we buy, down to the things that we read, study, things like that. Through all of that, it's going to be put into a system. This is what I'm assuming. I have no proof of this, but this is what I'm assuming is going to be put into a system. Now, all of that information is put into a system. What does that system do? It classifies humans, right? It classifies humans. We're going to be classified until we're already, I'm assuming this is already happening. So I'm thinking about it now, and I'm not the brightest of, I'm bright, I'm not wrong, I'm smart, but I'm lazy, right? My issue is that I'm lazy, and I've been getting better with being lazy, but I'm lazy in terms of thinking. In terms of thinking, I'm lazy. I'm on video games. I'm looking on there. I got real life to deal with. You know what I mean? I'm lazy in the sense that I don't have the energy to even think about this too much. I'm being bombarded. Boom, 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 boom. And I got to defend against that. Oh. I'm defending enough against that I'm telling you, I can't even focus on this. I'm too busy defending against all of this. It's like, all right, bro. I don't have the time. But now that I can focus on that, I'm still defending, but I get a time to relax and even just think about it. Right? So now that I think about it, look at this cat. But now that I think about it, you've been bombarded, so you got to take that. But you got to defend against that. But let's go back to what I was saying. If I'm defending against that, and then I have to go and talk to, my bad, not talk, but I'm defending against that, I might fall under a certain category level within the classification system. So let's say if I'm looking at this category, let's say you got your categories, you got your, let's say you got the low level humans, right? And when I say low level, let me say low intelligent, not even just low intelligence, but non-threatening humans, right? But I feel like you got a threshold, and within that threshold, like if they go too far underneath, whew, you a danger to society. If you go too far over it, whew, you a danger to society. Those zones may meet. So I don't even think it's just a scale. I think it's more of it's a circle, right? I guess you could say like a coordinate plan or whatever. When you reach a certain level, it's going to circle around, right? Boom, boom, boom. We're going to meet, boom. Boom, you go too far in one direction, you gonna keep meet. It's like a circle. You keep going in one direction, you gonna eventually meet the other person. Like if we're walking in a straight line on the earth, all right? Since it's a sphere, but let me say the zones are created like that too. Instead of up and downs, it's created circular. So circularly, when we're doing this, when somebody meets that level. So they're going to go above a certain level. Like, all right, now they're going to start approaching that danger zone where we got to classify them as a potential danger. And somebody go low enough, they're going to be a potential danger. Now, let's say the rich person, it just depends. They may have more money, or not, I don't want to say rich. Let me say you got different classifications with that as well. So let's say you have a classification to see the person that approaches that danger level, right? Let's say they approach that danger level, but they don't have the necessary voice or they don't have the necessary funds to reach the next danger level. So you got different danger levels: sub-dangerous level, sub-level, level, sub-level, sub-level, sub-levels. So your first danger level is if you can get out of the first danger level, basically. So once you get out that first danger level, you're classified into a new danger level. So at first, I was a human that had this thought. Boom. I moved out that danger level. Now you could go back down into your other danger level. So for example, let's say I'm danger level 1. I can go to danger level 2. I go to danger level 3. I go to danger level 4. And let's say 5 is, oh shoot. 4, they already look at 3. They might be paying a little attention to you, right? 4 is like, all right, you building up enough steam, money, steam, whatever else you elaborating your plans, basically. Somehow your plans are coming to fruition while they're looking at you through your behaviors. So through your behaviors, you're getting your plans carried out. Then you got 5. 5 is where it's okay. Then no, my bad. That's 3. 4 is more so. I don't even know if I said 4 yet. But 4 is more so you're moving on them plans. All right, you're starting to move on the plans. All right, you getting there. We might do something to you, threaten you, boom, 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 try to take you back down to danger level. But if you keep increasing that, you danger level 5. Hey, this is a national threat. This is a national threat to security. Now, I know this is true. Now, I don't know, but I know this is true. Now you got your first danger level. Your first danger level is going to tell you that, hey, bro, I think that we hit it. What am I saying? What am I saying about the first danger level? I don't know. Forget the first danger level. But let's just go back down to all the other danger levels, right? You classify it as the first one. And now you start moving up. You're getting classified as that human, right? Now they can take you down to danger level to keep whatever they got going on. But what happens when the danger levels are rising too quick? You know what I mean? The danger levels are rising too quick from all over the people. That's what the AI is like. I think that's what the AI could be for. You're going to have these dangers. It's too many people. Nobody can look at this all over and do this. You need to describe these danger levels like through them different classifications. You need to zoom in and say, okay, these qualities that this person's been doing, which is smart, is exhibiting these danger levels, right? Boom, 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 boom. Based on these danger levels, boom, 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 boom. We're going to hit these. We could possibly hit these scenarios, right? And you might be subcategory into more danger levels, which is crazy. So let me say this. You could be in danger level 1. In danger level 1, let's say in the environment that you in, your danger level 1, you might as well just be an ant, right? You get enough ants in your danger level, in your little area right here,